Good day folks, today on Curiosities of Staffordshire we're standing sort of right on the border between Staffordshire, Derbyshire and Cheshire near the Three Shires Head in the little village of Flash, which, as you can see from the sign, claims to be the highest village in Britain at 1,518 feet. There are a few more claimants to this title, but various little surveys and things have shown that Flash is indeed the highest village based on the highest building in the village. And we're pretty much right up on the Staffordshire Moorlands. If I move the camera around you'll see a bit more. In a very, very remote spot. In quite a harsh, unforgiving environment. And I'm going to move up into the village a little bit and tell you a bit more about this place. Okay, so we're back overlooking the Staffordshire Moorlands just outside of the village of Flash. And as we look now, we're looking to the right of the picture. You'll see the main road from Leek to Buxton, which is the road that passes past the Roaches and the famous Winking Man landmark. You'll see the Roaches themselves sort of on the far left of the picture right now. And just to tell you a little bit more about Flash, you might think that's a curious name for a village, but it was originally called Quarnford, and indeed the parish area is still called Quarnford. But the word flash is believed to come from the act of counterfeiting money. Apparently counterfeit money was called flash money. And as you can see by the rather remote location up here, this tiny little village and being right next to the border between the three shires, between Cheshire, Derbyshire and Staffordshire, at one time this little village became sort of a little den of iniquity between thieves and counterfeiters, etc. And apparently smuggling and counterfeiting and all sort of things used to go on up here because it presented sort of an easy escape route into what then would have been different jurisdictions in Derbyshire and Cheshire. They could just nip over the border with the counterfeit goods. And apparently all these sort of dodgy deals used to take place at the site that's marked as the Three Shires Head, which is barely a couple of miles from here. Unfortunately we won't be going there today. But yeah, the village itself these days, as I said, claims to be the highest in Britain. And indeed, during the winter, in fact often in spring and autumn as well, it becomes completely inaccessible due to snow, as does this entire road. It seems to get cut off as we're right up here in the wilderness. And even today in summer it's a bit brisk, to be honest. It's when it was really quite warm back home, but that comes with the territory, I guess. Another interesting fact about Flash, or Quarnford, was that it was actually one of the first centres for Methodism in the UK, or one of the biggest as it sort of spread, and apparently it was well established sort of in the mid 1700s. The Methodism movement having started sort of in the early 1700s, and by the time the chapel was built in sort of around 780, 785, something like that, there were about 61 members of the Methodist Church in Flash. And it's believed that from this little village it sort of spread to the surrounding area, and there's quite a strong Methodist base here. So I guess it presented sort of an interesting demographic. Back in the day you were either sort of sort of a thief or a brigand, or you were like a very straight-laced religious type up here, so it must have been a rather interesting place to live, I guess. With some sort of identity crisis, I imagine. But yeah, interesting little fact. Right now we're going to have a walk into the village. I'll take a few shots around so you can see what it's like. So this is the entrance to the village. Just looking in, a couple of Shire horses passing through there. Flash is also home to many exciting events such as a duck race, which will be quite a spectacle, I imagine. And of course there's the pub, which claims to be the highest village pub in the British Isles. I'm not entirely sure about that, to be honest, but I could check that information. And there's the church, St Paul's. I'm not sure whether that's the Methodist church or not. I don't think it is, but to be honest I'm not overly familiar with Flash, so I'm not entirely sure whether the original chapel is still here or not. I imagine it probably is somewhere. So this has been Flash, just outside of Buxton, I guess, on the border between Derbyshire, Staffordshire and Cheshire. Thank you very much for joining me.